Alright, so in the last video we talked about adding subdivision levels. I'm going to talk about how to use layers in this software. So I'm on the Sculpt tab of my Layers panel. Make sure you're not on the Paint tab. And we have a couple different options at the top. We have a New Layer button, we have a New Layer Group button, we have Delete Layer, and we have a Show Hide Mask. By default, you have this base shape layer. I never like to work on this layer. The first thing I do whenever I make a new Mudbox file is I make a new blank layer on top of that. So I'm going to say New Layer, and I'm just going to make this window a little bit bigger so we can see it. It's called Sculpt Layer 1. And now whenever I sculpt, what's great about this is working non-destructively. This is on this sculpt layer. I can hide this and it go back to my original model. There's also a strength, which is like the opacity, which I can click and drag. This is so powerful once you get the hang of this stuff. You can lock a layer, make a new layer on top of that. And now I can toggle these on and off. You can see how they can affect each other. So it's all dynamic node-based work. Really powerful. Let's delete these layers and go back to our base sphere. The reason I don't want to sculpt on my base sphere is then I can't go back to it, right? So I want to always create layers. Now layers are tied to subdivision levels. So let's make a new layer. Let's add some subdivision levels. I'm going to do Shift D. I've stepped up to 3, which is 24,000 polygons. And now whenever I start sculpting, you're going to see this little number just appeared here. It says 3, okay, in the L column. That's telling the user, okay, this was sculpted on level 3. Okay, so I do my level 3 sculpt, and then let's step up and see what happens. Or is it even going to let us step up? Let's see. Yep, so now that I'm at level 4, this layer has a little Ghostbuster symbol on it saying we can't sculpt on this layer anymore. This was sculpted on subdivision level 3. So I'll make a new layer and I can sculpt on top of it. So what's really powerful about this is you can step up and down. You can create layers that are only on subdivision level 6 that are just the fine little tiny details, and others that are lower. And remember, we can always adjust the strength of these. To change these, I need to step back down, so I can go Mesh, step level down. Now I'm at level 3, and I can pull this and modify it. Really powerful use of layers. I'm going to show you a couple more examples. Let's make a new layer, and this one I'll do at the, let's see, what mesh level are we at? Let's do this at 2. I'm going to use the grab tool. I'm going to make it very large. Okay, this is pretty much how I always use the grab tool, is about the same size as my model. I'm going to use it to, let's make it even bigger than that. I'm going to use it to just sort of shape my ball around. Okay. Feeling pretty good about that. As we start to get the shape going. Cool. Alright, I'm going to make a new layer. This one I'm going to step up a level. I'm going to use, let's use wax just to get some base forms built. Then I'll top that off with some foamy. Just kind of pull that out. You can use a Wacom tablet on this software. I'm not going to show you that because I think most people have mice. But if you use a Wacom tablet or another type of tablet system, it works really well. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of build that up. Let's add some basic formal stuff here. Let's copy one of these. Alright, let's make a new layer and let's step this up one. So I'm at 4. I'm going to use a stamp here. So we haven't been using stamp images. Let's use a stamp and let's use these lines. You can see the effect that that's going to have on our model. I'm going to make it really big. Let's turn on the stamp spacing a little bit higher. Okay. Oftentimes it's better to do stamps as normal maps. I'll show you how to do that later. Okay. Cool. So that's at level 4, level 3, level 2, and you can see the additional complexity. Awesome. So that's the basics of using layers to create some simple levels of detail. Later we're going to export these and generate what are called normal maps, which will help us keep our poly count low, so help keep our rendering really efficient. So I'll show you how to do that in the next video.